Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So we move on to the next chapter of our curriculum, which is verb sentences. So we'll start with the past tense, which is called the fi'l madi. So every fi'l has a pronoun inside it. The fi'l changes form depending on the pronoun inside it. So this is an example of the fi'l table for fa'ala, which means he did, meaning he did something. And remember that this table is obviously past tense because the chapter is on past tense. So if you just look at this table, so the highlighted blue tells you what each of the columns are. So you've got grammatical person, plural, dual, singular, and then the gender. Then you've got the masculine and feminine versions. Then we have third person, which indicates people that are far away. So they, them. And then the second person, which is you. And then the first person is I or we. So if we just go through it. So if you remember, the independent original pronouns from the pronoun chart, they have been included in this table as well to make things a little bit more clearer. So if you remember, the singular masculine is huwa, the dual is huma, then it's hum. Then the feminine singular is hiya, then it's huma again, then hunna. And then the masculine second person is anta, then antuma and antum, and the feminine is anti, antuma and antunna, and then ana means I, and nahnu means we. So these are the independent pronouns. So if we actually look at the fi'ls, which are in red color, so fa'ala, which means he did, so it means he did, so it's past tense, so he did something. And then huma, fa'ala becomes fa'ala, so the lam is extended and alif is added to it, so which means both of them did. And we're talking about men, so this whole line is about masculine, men. And then fa'alu is the hum version, which means they did. And like I said before, we've mentioned before that whenever we talk about the hum, it can include men and women. So you can include a group of men and women, and then you can use the hum. And for fa'ala, the hum version will be fa'alu. And then if we look at the hiya version, which is she, so that would be fa'alat. That's how you say it. That means she did. And then the huma version for feminine would be fa'alata. So the ta is just an alif is added to the ta at the end, which means both of them, women, did something. And then hunna would be, that version will be fa'alna, which means they, meaning the women, the group of women, did something. So the second person masculine is anta, which means you. So the fa'ala version of anta will be fa'alta, which means you did, which you're talking to a male, you man did something. And then antuma would be fa'altuma, so you both men did something. And then the antum version of fa'ala would be fa'altum, so all of you did something. And the all of you, the antum can include a group of men and women. And then the second person feminine would be anti, which means you when you're talking to a woman. So the fa'ala version would be fa'alti, so that means you woman did something. And antuma, again, it's the same thing. If you notice, the antuma for masculine and feminine is still the same as fa'altuma, and in this case is you two women did something. And then the antunna, so when you're saying all of you women, the fa'ala version would be fa'altunna, so all of you women did something. And the ana version of fa'ala is fa'altu, which means I did something. And nahnu is fa'alna, which means we did something. And you notice the nahnu, which is fa'alna, there's an alif at the end. And compare that to the hunna version, which is fa'alna. So they're the same, but the only difference is the nahnu version has an alif at the end of on the noon, so it's stretched fa'alna, which means we did something. And the other thing that you notice is that including and after the hunna version, the last root letter of the fi'l will always have a sukoon on it, so it's always going to be fa'al something from hunna onwards. So if you look at hunna, it's fa'alna, so the last root letter, so what we mean by that is fa'ala are the three root letters. Fa is the first, the ain is the second, and the lam is the third root letter. So you'll notice on the last root letter, which is the lam, from the hunna version, onwards, that gets a sukoon. So it'll always have a sukoon, the lam. So it's fa'alna. If you look at anta, the lam still has a sukoon. Then it still has a sukoon in antuma. And the lam still has a sukoon in antum. And it continues to have a sukoon all the way to the end. So it's always going to be fa'al something. So fa'alti, fa'altuma, fa'altunna, fa'altu, fa'alna. But this occurs from the hunna, including the hunna, onwards. But whereas before that, the lam doesn't necessarily, the lam doesn't have a sukoon. It has other things occur. So what you need to do is try to study this chart, memorize it for the fa'ala fi'l, and then you can apply the same template to any three letters. So if you replace the fa'ala with na, tha, sa and ra, the same template would apply. So you could just apply the same changes to any three root letters across this table, and that would be correct. So if you memorize this, then you can replace the fa, the ain and the lam with any three letters and the same and apply the same template across the whole chart. So here, this is exactly what we've done. So we've given another example in the past tense using nasara, which means he helped. So we replaced the fa with a noon, we replaced the ain with a sad, and we replaced the lam with a ra. So that's all we done. We just replaced the fa'ala with nasara, and the same template will apply as above. So here again, so nasara means he helped, and nasara, because remember it was fa'ala, now it's nasara, both of them helped, and there it was fa'alu, here is nasaru, so it's the same thing, they helped. There it was fa'alat, now it's nasarat, so it's the same thing, she helped. And there it was fa'alata, now it's nasarata, both of them helped women. And there it was fa'alna, and here is nasarna, so it's the same thing, just the three letters have been replaced. And anta, it was fa'alta, now it's nasarta. And like we said before, from hunna onwards, the last root letter out of the three gets a sukoon, and the sukoon stays on it for the rest of the chart. In fa'ala, the last root letter was lam, in this case is ra. So nasarta. There antuma was fa'altuma, now it's nasartuma. There it was fa'altum, now it's nasartum, which means all of you helped, men and women together. And then anti, which means you, feminine. There it was fa'alti, now it's nasarti, so you, woman, helped. And antum, there was fa'altuma, now it's nasartuma, so you two women helped. And there in the fa'ala chart, it was fa'altunna, so all of you did something. Now it's nasartumtunna, all of you women helped. And in the ana version, remember it was fa'altu, I did something. Now it's nasartu, I helped. So only the fa'ala, three letters are replaced with noon, sad and ra. And the nahnu version, there it was fa'alna, and here is nasarna, we helped. That's it. So if you memorize the original fa'ala chart, then you can easily replace the three letters with other three letters and just apply the same chart throughout, the same process throughout the whole chart. And this is only for past tense, bear in mind. So now again, as per usual, we always advise that at the end of every chapter to go through the vocabulary list chapter at the end. Ideally at the end of every session this curriculum is studied, so that your Arabic grammar knowledge increases with your vocab knowledge, inshallah.